Hello, 10A. This video is intended to explain the performance task, and I hope that some of the gray areas will be clarified as well. Okay, so always go back to the skills that you're developing since scaffold number 1, number 2, and number 3. Last week you had done that. So our PT scientific report using the CER model, and that's the transfer goal. You're asked to present a scientific report on the impact of diversity and its genetic variation on species adaptability and survivability. So, why CER? As what I had mentioned, okay? Getting you understand the CER is important because it helps you think through the scientific process. All claims must have supporting evidence, and you should be able to explain the reasoning behind your thoughts. CER is science literacy for the win. Now, our learning targets, these are the things that we want you to achieve at the end of the performance tasks. That you can make a claim in a given statement or a question or in an objective. Second, that you can collect valid evidence. After these, your evidence or the pieces of evidence that you're able to gather will be of use, okay, to prepare a report. Next, you can justify each evidence to support a claim. So always remember, how do I achieve this part? And then I can present a scientific explanation using valid and justifiable evidence. In one way or another, some of the competencies that you can achieve, okay, as you go through all the process. So it can be about evolution, it can be about species diversity, and of course, a relationship between population growth and carrying capacity. It still depends on the topic that I'll be presenting to you. But in the previous topic on our scaffold number 3, I believe that one of the targets or competencies here were also achieved. Okay? Now, our performance task is about looking into stickleback fish. The 3-spine stickleback fish, as stated in the interactive virtual lab, okay, is a good way or is a good model for studying evolution. Okay. The ancestral forms of stickleback fish are small ocean dwellers that were supported with heavy armor in the form of plates, spines, projecting from the back and pelvis. Okay? Now, the pelvis or the stickleback, in terms of its pelvis, evolved in, in its characteristics. So that's what you're going to look into. Okay? So, here is our grasp in narrative form or our PT in narrative form. Again, why we design this way? Because we want you to feel, okay, what if this is going to be your future job? What if, even if it is not in a science related, you will be asked to present a report? How will you go about it? So let's read Frontiers in Ecology and Evolution online journal publishes rigorously peer-reviewed research across fundamental and applied sciences to provide ecological and evolutionary insights into our natural and anthropogenic world. The online journal specifically contains essays and articles that utilize concepts of evolutionary biology to address issues relevant to health, environment, biodiversity, and economy. Papers published should be accessible to a diverse audience within the various environmental and government agencies. The editorial board invited your team to take part and immerse in the Howard Hughes Medical Institute's Stickleback Evolution virtual lab. So it's like a role play that you're invited to be part of this research, virtual research. So you have to feel that. You are asked to perform an experiment, gather data, make connections of your results and findings. Again, go back to the learning targets. Okay? Your team are expected to come up with a report to promote awareness on the different fields, topics, issues on biology and biotechnology that can address man's survival, evolution, and extinction of organisms. Well, maybe. The report can be fully presented using a poster or video presentation. What if you will be asked to speak your journal, okay, through TED Talks? Can you imagine that? Okay? Present it through TED Talks. So for your report to be published, it must be informative, with sound evidence and reasoning, and there's an impact to the readers, right? So let's just see how you will be evaluated using this rubric. Again, when you present your report, before you present the report, before you're organizing your thoughts, read about the rubric. Okay? So first, if it is informative. So let's take a look at the components of the rubric. And this is how you will be evaluated. So please try to think also that, yeah, your role is part of the research team, right? You and your partner. Now, the first component is it should be informative. Okay, so here, content is insightful and highly relevant to the objectives of the project, wisely chosen to address the needs of the audience. Okay, advanced level of scientific understanding is apparent in the information presented. So in our case, you are supposed to be choosing 3 experiments, but in our case, I'll be providing you the experiment and why is this a wise choice? You may explain that in that way to achieve this criterion. Second, sound evidence and reasoning. I am highlighting the 4 for those who would like to achieve 4. Please see the difference of 3. Report has an accurate and complete claim with scientifically appropriate data observations to support it. It includes explanation of science concepts that link evidence to the claim that are clearly stated. It provides salient reasoning that links evidence to the claim. Okay? Next, another, the impact of the report. This is made meaningful by the discussion of its scientific or societal implications, entices and encourages the reader to take actions. Okay, so take note also who's going to read your report. Okay, so let's see later on some of the characteristics. Maybe you get to see that. Now, PT guidelines, it is by pair. So peer-reviewed journal, which means to say, example, when you're conducting the experiment, then you present this experiment to another researcher, and then the researcher will validate that. That is possible. You're asked to perform the virtual experiment first before making a report. So here is the link. I believe that you were able to visit this link also. We will visit that. Okay. And you here, as stated, perform only experiment number 1. Always record your own observation or keep a record of your own. Okay, so let's visit the link. But I took screenshots rather of those parts of the links to highlight what you're going to do. Okay, so step one, read the introduction part. That is necessary to give you a background idea. Okay. Now, I just also would like to highlight why CER. Why in the lab? CER is great to implement within the lab process. You are asked to make a claim, okay? And you will test it. You will write your claim, right? That's your hypothesis. You provide evidence. Those are your data. And then you analyze it, right? You analyzed it. So it's just like the same since grade 7. Even when you were in grade 6, you're performing an experiment. So where is CER there? Now, how does this differ from what you've been doing when since grade 6, grade 7, grade 8, grade 9, or even when you're making an investigatory project? Because when you make your conclusion, your general statement, you will use this strategy. Okay? So you will use this strategy. Now, um, are you ready? So take down notes as much as possible. Okay, as much as possible, you're asked to take down notes. One moment, why is it that I cannot annotate there? Okay. Again, to give you background knowledge, it is very important that you read the details, the introduction. Okay. Now, next part, you're going to click here. Okay, you're going to join or enter the virtual lab. So have you seen that on the screen? You imagine that that's the virtual lab. Siguro po ako science teacher and this is my lab. I will be inspired to do research. Okay, next. But of course, do not just work because kanami isang lab, right? Okay. Now what's next? Okay. We click the lab and then you will be directed to the overview of the virtual lab or tutorial number 1. Please read the tutorial number 1. Okay. You can do that together with your partner. Here is tutorial number 1. Okay. Read the overview first. Then, what's next? What's next? There you go. Please study. Practice first. You will do the scoring. Okay, this is the lateral view. This is the ventral view. Okay, you do the tutorial. This is nice. And this is how it's done in the laboratory. Okay, you are being brought into a lab. How this study was been done by the researchers. Okay, so see, I hope you will not limit only on the face-to-face lab. You get to learn something from this. Then you will perform the experiment number 1. Experiment number 1 is analyze stickleback fish from lakes. So I want you to look into the objectives. Read it first. Okay? As highlighted, determine whether there are significant differences between the two populations of the lakes as presented here. Okay? You will use the data and information about the lakes to draw conclusions about what? Possible environmental factors affecting the evolution of Kelvis morphology of stickleback fish. From that objective, you will make a claim. Dira ka ubra claim. Okay? Then read the other portions. Please take note that you read this and this. Again, this is giving you background information. Okay? That's what research also. Next. What's next? So you make a claim. Now, you will be practicing how to do the scoring. Okay? You had a while ago practice how to do the scoring. Now, after which you will be asked to so to start the experiment, you need to click the blue blobs to get started. Just mentioned it to start the experiment. Okay. I hope you will enjoy because it's not about that I enjoyed it. I want to teach this virtual lab is teaching you the scientific processes that you have to work in making an experiment and to develop most especially. Okay? Then what's next? Click the bear paw lake jar for staining. Okay? So that's it. Next, after which, and you do the process. Are you interested in how they catch the fish? Okay, try to take a look at here. How did they do it? Okay, then you will do the staining process here. You will do the staining process. And please take note how it is done. Okay, then what's next? Where are we now? Done staining. Then you will do the scoring the fish. So you're going to click here, that one, because last time I was having a hard time. I was clicking the blue ones. I thought that the website did not work, but it's the jar that you're going to click. Okay? Next. Then, in your own notebook, come up with your own table, please. Make your own table and keep your own record. Keep your own record. So, you are going to observe this fish, for instance. You may check the lateral view. You may check the ventral view. And of course here, you have also a guide here. Review the scoring system if if you don't have a copy of that. So you will be guided by the scoring system. Okay. Now, what's next? There you put your record, and then that's for the beer paw. Now you will do the frog lake scoring. Okay, then you give the totals. Give the totals, right? That's the totals. Okay. Now, remember, there are, if you can correctly give the data basing from the observations, it's just like you're working well with those researchers. Okay? So always remember to keep your own record. Why? Maybe you cannot go back to this. Maybe there's a possibility that you cannot go back to this part. Then what's next? You are asked to answer the lab quiz and take time to read the explanation for each correct choice provided after each question. This is the source, or these can be the source of your reasoning. Okay? You study the explanation gathered, make connections to the objectives, most specifically to your claim. Report can be in the form of Word file or video presentation. Or what if you present it virtually, record it? You can do that. Okay? Review the GRASP goal. Study the rubric and follow what is required to get the good score. You go back to the goal of the GRASP. You go back to the goal of the PP. Here in the narrative, what are you asked to do? Okay? Now, for tomorrow, if you haven't started this yet, we can have the Zoom link. You can perform that together with your classmates, with your partner during the breakout session. And then I'm just at the plenary meeting room if you have any questions. Okay, what's next? This is the deadline. Now, what is the product? Miss, how is the product look like? If you want it this way, it's okay. Just like what you had done in your scaffold number 3. Feedbacking of scaffold number 3 will be done also tomorrow. And then you may also present a video. What's your choice? What platform or app rather are you comfortable with? It's your choice, okay? But of course, for easy checking, actually when we make a report, we do not highlight, okay? For the purpose of, for easy checking on my part, please try to highlight. If not highlight, you make some creative clips there for me to recognize where your claim is, your evidence, and your reason, okay? And A, I hope that this video helps.